total manpower usage, since any wounded can be recovered and recuperated into grenadier teams. But such is not fate, it seems. Sniper moving ahead once more at full speed. Situation a bit dire for JiF, who currently has a bit of a trouble holding the territories he has, which isn't a lot. Massimilian hitting him from every angle while he's occupied elsewhere. A bit dangerous, in fact. Sniper moving out, opening fire on the riflemen, who are once more disconnecting JiF from what little territories he has. And he's going for the Sturm Armory, and a full grenadier team is regrouping and receiving reinforcements. Oh, hiccup. Volksgrenadiers being assailed by riflemen in the south, forced to retreat, I'd say, under heavy BAR fire. Yes, a retreat is on the way. Grenadiers and MG42 team the only thing to hold them back. Pack trying to sneak in on the armored car, I think. And the Volksgrenadiers on the move. Sturm Armory ready for construction, since the assault phase has been reached of the Wehrmacht strategy. Riflemen being suppressed and taken out by grenadiers, who are now moving in once more. Riflemen now encountering more experienced veteran troops, and on the western half the armored car is knocked out by combined Panzerfaust and pack fire. Fresh armored car on the move. The grenadiers really should consider retreating, and they do. One should avoid seizing territory while fighting an enemy, and rather focus first on the enemy, then the territory. Armored car applying heavy pressure to the machine gun team, which can't really fight back, and there are no anti-tank assets to respond to this new threat from Massimilian. And let's go back and see what Mr. Massimilian is up to, and we see another grenadier team on the field, and from Massimilian we see that Allied War Machine is available, allowing him to recuperate any losses in terms of armor when activated. Motor pool up. Riflemen moving upwards on the western flank. Volksgrenadiers unable to provide any serious resistance to the heavily armed riflemen, who are now being reinforced by further riflemen. And currently Hauptmann JiF is in a bit of a bind, since he's unable to focus any of his forces and deliver any blows to Massimilian at the moment. So far any heavy losses have been more by accident, it seems, and for the most part any serious losses to Massimilian seems to be brief and easily overcome. Armored car moving ahead to deal with the machine gun in the barn. Sniper being killed by combined BAR and light machine gun fire. One should be careful in such situations, since light machine guns can really deal with snipers fast. Large grenadier and full grenadier team force on the way. Panzerschrecks equipped, and we see a bit of quiet. It looks like he hasn't got any pioneers, in fact. That's a bit unfortunate. Second grenadier team joining the larger force, taking out the engineer team. Standing out in the open should be avoided. Heavy firefight being going on here. Grenades being unleashed on the riflemen. Heavy losses inflicted, in fact, as they are also standing out in the open somewhat, except for a few behind bushes and fences. Suppression fire going off, suppressing the rifle, some of the Volksgrenadiers and grenadiers. Grenade going off again. Further heavy losses inflicted, and the grenadiers reach safety behind the tractor, which has been left behind by some French farmer. Grenadiers maneuvering into position for further heavy fire, and Greyhound moving in, and pack opening fire. A second pack is out for JiF, knocking out the armored car, and this is exactly what I was talking about for JiF to do, inflict some serious losses, thus allowing him to move out and finally secure some territory again, while Massimilian is forced to regroup his forces and reinforce whatever was lost. Numerous anti-tank guns on the field. Fun fact, it's actually a copy of the British 6-pounder anti-tank gun, but because the Americans didn't have anything, they borrowed the design and simply just called it the M1 57mm anti-tank gun, at least as far as I'm aware. Germans also recuperating, perhaps not what they should have done at this moment, being a bit more bold and just seizing territory with their wounded troops. But that is JiF's prerogative, although, for example, something like a half-track could have helped, allowing him to reinforce out in the field, and that is certainly an advantage of the half-track, that it can allow you to reinforce on the field, thus minimizing your downtime. Downtime is not really on this map.
Germans are seizing territory from
Also, something you should have considered was perhaps getting some pioneers to recuperate or scavenge the munitions from this Greyhound. But again, not really apparently on JiF's mind. Anti-tank gun being pushed forwards and movement going into the central area to secure this territory. And JiF finally able to seize some territory and put some pressure on Massimilian. Grenadiers being set upon, and again, he really should consider pulling back, while in such cases, instead of continuing to seize territory at times like these.
the Huns are taking our territory.
Grenadiers going down in large numbers, really should consider getting out. No, and a Grenadier team is down, a heavy loss for JiF, who at this moment can't really afford this. Mines going down to blockade any quick entrance into this area. Small farm, it looks like. Full Grenadiers and Grenadiers moving in, and a large rifleman force moving in from the south, intent on flanking.
Calliope rocket battery available.
And Calliope is going out for Massimilian, meaning he'll probably get one soon. And Massimilian doesn't really have much, and he hasn't gone for this Sturm army, so quick guess, yes. Next phase, and of course that means panzers. And we have Blitzkrieg going up, assault grenades being launched, doing heavy damage to the riflemen, but not killing, since they can't do that. But any rifleman should be killed rather quickly, although moving out into the open among all those BAR equipped riflemen. Bad move, even with all the assault grenades going off. Heavy losses and Volksgrenadiers being annihilated. Unfortunate, but the Americans are retreating in mass, and a Grenadier team going down as well. This is a heavy loss for Hauptmann JiF and Kampfgruppe JiF. Certainly not a good move after that he was able to at least briefly equalize this situation. Pioneers finally on the field, probably only going to set up the Panzer Command, and we have the German Calliope rocket launcher tank firing a barrage right into the enemy base, lighting it up like a fireworks show, albeit much more lethal. 2 Grenadiers going down in the barrage, and in fact JiF has almost nothing to hold back with. But it doesn't look like that Massimilian is actually trying to exploit this, and is merely content to just sitting back.
The enemy is seizing our territory.
Question is, will JiF be able to change this by some brilliant move, or will he merely be sent back into oblivion? Large rifleman force, a solid squad and a half. On the move, one with veterancy, 2 meaning they'll be harder to hit and easier hit targets, meaning that those bars equipped will be even further lethal alongside the riflemen. Grenadiers killing an engineer team, moving forwards. JiF having lost most of the territory he briefly gained, and the Panzer Command is soon up. Most likely he'll be going for either a Ostwind or Panther, since that is what most Wehrmacht commanders do. Not what I'd recommend. I'd go for a Panzer force, since that would allow me to deal with both infantry and the Sherman Calliope. And yes, we have an Ostwind on the way. A bit of a rare anti-aircraft tank or flak panzer. Only about 40 were made, but that's still a lot, since usually you'd only see 3 or 4 equipped per division, I think, alongside other more available versions, I believe, although I don't quite have access to the numbers distributed and where, so my apologies. Going back to Massimilian, my Major Massimilian, Baker Company, roar. Anyways, pardon that.
Our supply lines are being threatened.
Just trying to liven things up a bit, and the riflemen fall upon the grenadiers, gunning them down, trying to seek cover behind a fence. Good move, although against these riflemen I don't think it's much hope, and I think really that the grenadiers should have gotten veteran C2, and we see assault grenades going off, lobbing a volley of grenades, doing great damage and stunning the riflemen, forcing a full retreat, so a good move there. And we see the Ostwind on the field, 37mm anti-aircraft gun firing away at the riflemen, forcing a further retreat. But the Americans are advancing on the east, seizing what he is gaining on the left. Further Calliope barrages right into the Wehrmacht base. Things are not looking good. Ostwind continually opening fire, a bit too close to the rifleman, though. Will probably lob a sticky bomb. Yes, a sticky bomb right onto the rear end of the Ostwind, causing engine damage and slowing down the Ostwind further. Not too good. Not too good at all.
The enemy is down to
Riflemen moving forwards, and a left behind MG32 falling into their hands. Always a good thing to scavenge your enemy's weapons, if possible, or their wrecks if you're the Wehrmacht. So that's certainly going to make it a lot harder for JiF to actually make any forward movements. I suspect that'll be a Panther, since players that do have that tendency for going for the Ostwind will usually try to go for the Panther as well, to then make up for any lack of anti-tank. Although, of course, at the same time, if one is knocked out, you're suddenly lacking one type of capability. Panther crushing out. The hedgerows and Panthers are one of the few tanks that can't crush stuff like hedgerows and heavier walls. Tigers, Pershings, crocodiles with dozer blades are some of the units that can actually anti-tank gunfire on the Panther. Probably anti-tank rounds as well. Opening fire on the Sherman Calliope that is not reacting. Ostwind moving right in front of the anti-tank gun, not the best move.